Chapter 4 The Island. The path wound between boulders on the beach and then rose steeply through a crack in the cliff. Elmer scrambled up, bracing himself between the rock walls until he could find the next toehold. Just as he thought he could go no farther, he found an old log ladder going straight up to the top of the cliff. Somebody must live here, he thought, as he climbed up the last rung and sat down. All around him rose beautiful tall pine trees standing in rows, and he said, "Trees don't grow in rows all by themselves. These pines were planted here by somebody a long time ago." Elmer ate 4 more tangerines and then started through the pines to look for food and water. At last, he came out onto a sloping meadow. He saw a brook winding its way down the slope, and he ran to take a long, cool drink. "The dragon will be very happy to see this," he thought, "but I do wish I'd find somebody to tell us where we are and how to get home." He followed the brook up the slope into an old apple orchard. Some of the trees had rotted down to stumps, but they had been planted in rows too. Elmer didn't see anybody anywhere, so he followed the brook back down the slope to a place where it made a pool of clear, cold water. He stooped down for another drink and found an old wooden bucket carved out of the trunk of a tree. "This bucket hasn't been used for many years," he thought as he scraped off the moss and weeds. "Maybe nobody lives here anymore." Elmer left the bucket inside the pool and followed the brook through ferns and bushes until it turned into a swamp. "Skunk cabbages and ostrich ferns all over the place," yelled Elmer, who was worried about the hungry, thirsty baby dragon. He quickly pulled up 6 skunk cabbages and ran back through the bushes to the pool. He dipped the bucket half full, threw in the cabbages, and hurried through the meadow to the pines and the dragon. He knew he couldn't go down the ladder with the bucket, so he crawled to the edge of the cliff and peered through the vines. There was a wilted baby dragon snoring in the shade. "Dragon, dragon, wake up! I've got water and skunk cabbages for you." The dragon slowly opened one eye and looked up at Elmer. Then he quickly opened the other eye and said, "Where?" "Right here in a bucket, but I can't bring it down to you. You'll have to let me pour the water down your throat. Ready?" "Ready," said the dragon, tipping back his head. Elmer aimed and poured, and the dragon drank. Then Elmer threw down the cabbages one by one, and the dragon caught each cabbage in the air, laughing and crying at the same time because he was so happy and hungry and thirsty. "That's all," said Elmer, "but there's lots more on the island, and ostrich ferns too. Can you fly up now?" "Ostrich ferns? I better be able to fly," said the dragon, stiffly flapping his gold-colored wings. He hobbled along the beach and gave a little jump and fluttered up to the top of the cliff. "I'm not the dragon I used to be," he panted, "but I'll get you home yet, Elmer. Don't you worry about that." "Oh, I know you will. I'm not the least bit worried," said Elmer, although he had secretly hoped to find people on the island and a boat going home, and all sorts of good things to eat.